Drew fires it back, and now Pitta hit on the right wing. Big hit there by Kleven, stepping into Pezzetta. Who gets the license plate, and Rafai stepped up. Batherson's gonna drop the gloves, but Marshall Rafai and David Perron gets caught up in the action here. Well, the Battle of Ontario is back on. Pezzetta drops his gloves with Ridley Greggs. The initial hit on Pezzetta and the response from Rafai.
The initial hit from, I don't know if it was Kleven who threw the hit on the far side. I mean, that's what set all this off. It's like we haven't seen a lot of weight being thrown around thus far in this game. This is a training camp game. This is a preseason game where you're trying to show your stuff. And this hit right here on Pezzetta is kind of what got Rafai to step right up and take this run at Greg. And once that happened, in came Batherson, in came Perron. And then once the battle gets going, if you're on the ice, a guy like Pezzetta, and there's a guy out there maybe you don't like very much, there's a good time to grab onto him. So he grabs onto Ridley Gregg. Nothing happens there. Guys are escorted to the penalty box. And finally, a little action, a little angst, a little combustion here that you normally would see in a preseason game of this stature.
Perron around the box, wondered if he might get called for joining that altercation, but it looks like Pezzetta and Rafai.
He's all around it, but he really never, I think he falls down at one point, or he might have been in on top of Rafai along with Batherson, but he never really gets in there. You think he might get one from just being on the outer edge of it all, but it looks like at this point, he's going to avoid a penalty. They'll probably even this thing all up at the end of the day.
Mitch Dunning, Peter McDougall are the referees. Sean Oliver and Devin Berg are on the lines for this preseason game.
Well, here's the run, and then Batherson immediate, right? And over time, teams know that you gain a lot of traction within your team when you stick up for one another. It's all for one, one for all. When someone you think takes a run at one of your players, then it's important for you to be there. It doesn't matter who it is. Batherson, known more for goal scoring and playmaking and skill sets, jumps in there. He's the first guy in there, and that speaks volumes along the bench for the Senators. And you look at Rafai, a guy who didn't like the hit on Pezzetta, and steps right up and throws one on Greg. That's a response almost immediately. And if you're the Leafs, you like to see that too. So nice physical shift, ends with some penalties, and it's all good in my books. This is what you kind of think you're going to get a little of in games like this.
Marshall Rafai had a couple of games with the Leafs a couple of seasons back.
Well, you mentioned the referees and linesmen in this game. Sean Oliver, the youngster here, Ottawa West Gold Knight here in Ottawa, an Ottawa native. The game here in his hometown. Well, so Rafai comes across the ice. Now, if the hit is deemed to be a clean one, then I don't see why he gets a penalty, so that makes sense to me, unless he give him a roughing along the wall with Batherson.
Yeah, I thought with the gloves off, that would at least be
a roughing penalty, right? Yeah.
But apparently not.
I didn't take any issue with him coming across throwing the hit. I don't think I had a problem with that. I mean, afterwards along the wall, that's referee's discretion on that. And I didn't have a problem with the hit by Kleven either. I thought both were good hits. But as we know in this game now, CC, sometimes really good hits draw attention. It doesn't matter if they're clean or not.
Well, the temperature of the game certainly went up. And
Ottawa 19, Toronto 61. Coincidental double minors for roughing. And we have Ottawa 71, 2-minute minor for slashing.
Well, so the Maple Leafs end up with a power play out of that.
A slashing call that I guess I didn't pick up. So that would have happened after maybe. Maybe that's what drew Pezzetta over there. Maybe that's something that we didn't see initially, but that's the call that the referee saw, and there's the extra penalty there. I mean, Ridley Gregg, one of those guys, he wants to get under your skin.